Very eager to see the president reelected and to see Elizabeth Warren elected here, and I think that's likely. I think the last week or so has kind of reinforced in people's minds the importance of the federal government being in the hands of people who understand government's role. We had a good jobs number. America's economy has been troubled because of the recession and what's going on in the rest of the world, but we're still the strongest developed economy in the world as a result of what we're trying to do. We've been retarded by the Republicans' efforts, and I think Elizabeth Warren has been an extraordinary leader. She's already, with the Consumer Bureau, accomplished more before she gets to the Senate legislatively than most senators will have done at the end of their career. And Joe Kennedy makes me very happy. It resolves any doubts I had about leaving and whether or not the things I've worked on, the people I've tried to represent, will be well represented. Joe will do a great job.
And with redistricting this round, do you think that the redistricting has impacted it on any of the races this year?
It may have weakened John Cheney a little bit. He's already been weakened. It's really been distressing to me to see the Boston Globe engage in kind of the foxification of that race. They have really been outrageously biased, distorted, unfair, and that plus redistricting have put that race in play when, if you look at John Cheney's record, it shouldn't be.
And if elected, Mr. Tisei would be the first openly gay Republican. How do you think
No, there have been two other openly gay Republicans in Congress. Steve Gunderson from Wisconsin and Jim Corbett from Arizona. He will be the first who was out before he was elected. Unfortunately, what you see from Mr. Tisei is that he's not going to do the cause legislator any good. It is a sign that he has less prejudice, but Mr. Tisei will vote to keep the Republicans in power. He'll vote for John Boehner and Eric Cantor to be the leaders. He'll vote for this right-wing continued control, which means no legislation that's in any way favorable to us will come up. In fact, he's going to vote for leadership, which when President Obama said he would not defend the Defense of Marriage Act, which is a terribly unconstitutional, unfair attack on LGBT people, they voted to go to court in defense of it. And that's the group that Mr. Tisei is hanging out with. He says he's going to influence them, but there's no record of that. There's no record of him as a state legislator. In fact, as a state legislator earlier in his own career, outrageously, he was voting in an anti-gay manner. He tried to get the guy he was running with when he was lieutenant governor candidate to be supportive of gay rights legislation. Instead, the guy was making fun of it. So there's just no reason to think that he'll have any positive impact. It is true, the fact that he can get the nomination does show a diminution of some anti-LGBT prejudice, but in terms of the legislation, John Cheney, with a 100% record of support for LGBT issues, John Cheney was voting pro-LGBT when Richard Tisei was voting anti.
And with ENDA too being kind of stalled, do you feel like Mr. Tisei would do anything along the lines?
No, he'd be exactly the opposite. I tell you this, if John Cheney is reelected and we get a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate President, ENDA will pass, with transgender included. We're at that point now. If Tisei helps the Republicans keep control, it will never come up. That's not even a debatable issue. We'll be lucky if the Republicans don't do us more damage. But if you look at what happened when the Democrats had the House in 2009 and 2010, we repealed Don't Ask, Don't Tell. We passed the Transgender Inclusive Hate Crimes Bill. When the Republicans took over the House, they instead rallied to the support of DOMA, passed amendments in support of DOMA. So it's just not debatable. John Cheney's win and the Democratic House means we'll probably pass ENDA. If Tisei helps the Republicans hold the House, there's no chance.